I mean, look, this is obvious. If you want to help people get out of poverty, you've actually got to help them by providing them assistance from which they have a platform to get out of poverty. That means that you have to make sure that they have the availability of a job and that they have the basic resources for which to present themselves to that job. There was a story recently about a homeless woman who was going in to apply for a job. She left her 2 kids in her car. I think the kids were under the age of 3. She cracked the windows a little bit. She went in to get a job. She has no home now. She has no means in which, when you're homeless, you don't have any neighbors. She probably has no extended family that is available to her. She has no means in which to provide any daycare for her kids. She was arrested, thrown in jail because she left the kids in there. And, this is not something that it's very hard to defend leaving your kids in the car like that. But I mean, this is the problem, is that there's no means in which for this woman to go in and apply for a job, to get a job, to pay for a daycare for her children, to be able to leave them at home with somebody, to invite somebody over to pay them, money while she goes out and finds a job. I mean, this is the failure of our system.
You know what? Hearing that story and then and myself juxtaposing it with another story we heard this week about that DuPont heir who raped his 3-year-old child, and the judge said he's not going to spend a day in jail. He can't handle it. And then this woman who has none of the riches this guy has and tried to better herself, get a job, pull herself out of this for her children. She's thrown in jail because she left them in the car compared to this guy who sexually abused his children. Just, my God.
And I think, the code to that story is that, I think fortunately there was like some type of online campaign to raise funds for her to pay for her bail. And it did quite well. I mean, but this is that, there's no better illustration of that dilemma, of how poverty traps you in poverty, than the idea of not providing any support for this woman so that she could go and actually better herself.
You bring up the crowdfunding support for her to get her bail out of jail. I've heard so many stories, too, though, of like judges hearing about that, and then when sentencing came, they keep that into consideration to punish this person even more.
Unbelievable.